What's up, everybody? I'm going to do a quick review of my S2000 Skunk2 Ultra Race intake manifold. So here's my Skunk2, as you can see. Here's my OEM. The Skunk2 I've had for about 2 or 3 weeks. I got it powder coated. I did a little bit of a port on it, nothing too crazy. When I first got it, the runners on it were bad. They were pitted. Just disgusting. Looked like a cast iron skillet somebody had left out in their driveway during 3 hurricanes, so I was not impressed. So like I said, I did a mild port on it and then actually powder coated the inside, and that way it smoothed it out. I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely a lot better, a lot smoother. Another issue I found with it is there's no place for your IACV, or idle air control valve. So if you want to run, a street car with some OEM function, you need an idle air control valve. So on your OEM intake manifold, that's where your idle air control valve goes. That way when the throttle body is closed, you still get some air in there. And you need something like this. So there's no place for it. I had to spend an extra $100 on K-Miata to get this adapter plate here. And then I had to spend an additional $50 to get a Honda Element IACV. So it's a nice little piece. Is it worth $100? No, but I guess I get my stock idle back, so I needed it. And then these little port doohickeys came with the Skunk2, and I'm gonna have to buy 4 or 5 more of those, hook it to the intake manifold, and I think I'm just gonna put a filter on this side, one of those little AutoZone mini filters. Another issue I have with it is this is where your throttle cable bracket goes. Well, as you can see, there isn't one on the Skunk2. So I had to get an adapter to go here on the throttle body. It cost me an additional $100 so I can run my stock throttle cable. So now I'm into this intake manifold, $800+, not including the powder coating, not including the Skunk2 90mm throttle body, but I'm into it an additional $250 just to buy stuff to make it work, give it that OEM function. So it is definitely not a direct OE replacement whatsoever. If you don't have a local shop that knows what they're doing, or you can't do it yourself, don't bother. You won't be happy buying this thing. Another issue I have is the temp sensor, the coolant temp sensor, in the OEM intake manifold. It goes right here, and it screws right in, no issues. On the Skunk2, the port right here is a lot smaller. I've already drilled it out some. I'm gonna have to drill it out more and then tap it, but it does not fit whatsoever. So, not happy about that. More work I gotta put into it. Probably another hour worth of drilling and then tapping just to get it to fit. Speaking of things not fitting, I'm a big illusion purple and then black guy. So, powder coated the rail. I mean, the intake manifold as a whole looks awesome. Don't get me wrong there. If you want just a decoration piece, get the Skunk2 manifold. If you want something that functions like OEM, yeah, don't. So, my fuel rail. The injectors fit fairly well. I got new grommets, new O-rings, and they fit okay in there. Not OEM fitment, but I didn't expect OEM. But the ports for my injectors, these are your rings for the injectors. I'm running Injector Dynamic 1000s right here. I'll grab one, hold on, I'll put my phone down. Alright, so I'm running ID 1000s, as you can see. They're good injectors, never had an issue with IDs. Little grommet. Put it in the OEM intake manifold, pops in just like that, and then I put in my fuel injector. Boom, self-explanatory. If you don't know how to do that, you should be working on cars. Sure, it moves a little bit, but once you get the fuel rail on there, it's not going to budge. And that same little grommet that's supposed to go around the fuel rail, if you go to the Skunk2, it doesn't fit, not even close. It's a good 1/8 of an inch too big to fit in there, so my fuel injectors will not fit in there. So I'm going to have to go through and cut all of that out on each and every fuel injector port, which is pretty damn irritating. If you look at the top ones, because this intake manifold is built to run 8 injectors, 2 fuel rails if you feel the need, but I can't even run 4 because they don't fit here. The grommet fits really well on the top one. It's nice and snug. I can get it in there just fine. So if I plugged these and then cut the holes out for these, I could actually run these injectors, but I shouldn't have to. I should be able to run these as they were made. So I'll have to pull that out later. Yeah, those don't fit. I'm going to have to get spacers and then cut everything out, because once I get my injectors in there, the fuel rail doesn't line up to the holes here over here, whichever side it's supposed to go on, but they don't line up. So, got an issue with the throttle cable, got an issue with the IACV, got an issue with the temp sensor, and I have an issue with the fuel injectors. As a whole, I am not impressed with this intake manifold. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of extra work, and I'm probably into it right now. $1,300 to $1,500 if I sat down and did the math. I'd be pretty damn irritated for something that should be able to fit right out of the box. I didn't expect direct OEM fitment, you know, that kind of quality, but I did expect a lot more from a $1,500 piece. Skunk 2, you got to do better than this. You got to do a whole lot better than this. If I had the opportunity, I would not buy this again. If I hadn't already powder coated it, I would return it. So if you want something that looks really cool and you don't plan on running your car, or if you plan on dropping $1,500 and 3-4 hours worth of work, I'd say go for it. This is probably, you know, I've seen dyno sheets that it makes 12 horsepower naturally aspirated. I haven't seen any on forced induction, but, you know, I'll probably make an extra 20, 25, maybe even 30 horsepower on my turbo setup. So we'll see, but I should have it on the car in about a week, and I'll take pictures and video then, but got a lot more work to do.